Hello everybody, my name is Dwake and I'm with Wrath Gaming. Welcome to the channel. I'm going to go over some healing builds that I use personally for anything from wars to dungeons, open world. And I'm going to go over both my life staff and my void gauntlet is what I'm using currently. So let me start off with what I'm using for what we call our flex group in our wars. I'm set up for that right now because we have a war tomorrow and I'm playing around with how I like my build for it. So first off, I got Sacred Ground because it's needed for every kit, because as you healers should know, Fortifying Sacred Ground is probably our strongest perk and it's kind of a must-have. I also like Orb of Protection. Yes, I'm not using Beacon, and I have loved Beacon since it came out, but it's just not doing enough, and I'm using other things to compensate its inability to, its long cooldown and its inability to move if you cast it on the ground. Yes, you can stick it to someone, and that can help with it, but I like this better. And I'm not using Light's Embrace. I love Light's Embrace. It's a great skill, but I am using Splash of Light, and that's because, one, the range, two, with Disease being on weapons next patch, that's going to be huge. And it's going to really affect us healers, because all of a sudden we haven't had to really use purges because we just have it on Mending Touch and on a skill that nobody's been really using. Now, I have been able to get Splash of Light to heal people in a burst up over 3k. Not too bad. About the same amount as a health pot. Now, I like it. It works in OPR. I've used it in wars and I've liked it. I've been able to be at the top of healing, especially if I'm focusing healing. I have a knack for switching to my Void Gauntlet and going a little left click happy with it. But you might not have that issue. So you need all these perks because, I mean, you could drop Protector's Touch, but I like stacking as much Fortify as I can. Now, Orb of Protection, if they can manage to finally fix the perk for it, I have that here. If I can get an extra 35% healing for 5 seconds when I heal somebody with it that's under 50% health, that is a huge healing buff for all the rest of your heals. For your Sacred Ground, for your Splash of Light, it's just going to buff you so much that it's going to get your Orb of Protection a lot closer to what your Beacon was healing for. And then there's also, we also have the Void Gauntlet. And I'm throwing out Orb of Decays and using that to heal. If we're not really suffering too much damage, I use the damage on it, because I do have enough focus and intelligence to do so. And that's for the flex. Now, if I was going to hold a point, I probably would switch to Beacon from Orb of Protection. I'd possibly switch to Light's Embrace. You can test that out. I like this setup a lot for both, because Orb of Protection is giving you the Fortify. It's if you're hitting enemies, it's a nice little bit of damage as well. And it's a solid ability. It's just a solid ability. But for point holding, Beacon is just huge. It's a huge area of effect, and you can't go wrong with it. Now, they are removing the ability for us to toe dip and get out and still be getting that hot. I'm sad about that. I'm gonna miss that happening, because now you can't. Now you have to stay in it as a healer, and that's changing with the new patch coming with all the gypsum and expertise changes. It's on PTR right now, so I'm a little sad about that. And that's for PvP. OPR, you can run either build. Wars, if you're on flex, I like this because the movement. Sacred Ground has not a very long cooldown, so you can get that back down pretty quick, even if you're flexing from one point to the next. And even though I like Speed of Light on Beacon, you know what? We have haste pots. They've made perks like this useless in a war. Why would you be worrying about haste on something when you could just use a haste pot and get from point to point way faster? Now for the PvP side of healing, my Void Gauntlet, this is what I'm using currently for my setup, and I do a number of different builds. I'm doing this because the Oblivion perk it's just huge. It's going to negate people's healing. It's tearing their buffs off. It's removing their Fortify. You hit them way harder. Your people are going to wreck through them. And it's giving them Weaken, so it's going to make them do less damage to you. It's just packed full of shit. So I would run that. And Orb of Decay, it does damage. It does healing. It heals pretty close to what Beacon does. The hot, especially if you have Blessed on your Void Gauntlet, it gets really close. And then you have the Detonating Orb. You can use that damage or healing. If you're pressuring, you can get that nice crit at the beginning of the fight, and they'll get 2 stacks of Disintegrate. That's gonna make all of them. It stacks 1 rend, so they're taking an extra 10% damage right off the bat, and there's a nice little dot on them, and it slows them. So I like to engage with it, even in a team fight, because it's gonna crit a bunch, and you'll get it back pretty quick. Now Void Blade, I like Void Blade because I like to peel those that are pressuring me off of myself. If you have good peels, that's great. Sometimes they're just too far, and I would rather smack them with what I have. Now sometimes I often remove Oblivion for Scream or Decay for Scream. You can try around what you like. I like this for support. If I was going to go in what I find to be the burstiest setup, I like Void Blade, Decay, and Scream. Starting out with the Decay, Scream, into Void Blade. It packs so much damage. So that's what I like for PvP for it. Now for PvE healing. Let me go back to Life Staff. I think Beacon, Light's Embrace, and Sacred Ground are a must-have for PvE healing for packs of mobs. Because that's going to give you, just a ton of AoE healing. Those hots are huge. And then it'll give you a nice burst with Light's Embrace. Now back before the changes, I was using more Orb of Protection, Beacon, and Sacred Ground. That might still work. I prefer the Light's Embrace. But for dungeon bosses, you don't really need any of that. I prefer running Void Gauntlet and using Orb of Decay, Void Blade, and Essence Rupture. That Essence Rupture is going to give a AoE heal to everybody. 20% of their damage is coming in as healing. If you have solid DPS, they're healing themselves and you're DPSing, taking stress off of you having to manage their health pools as much. They just need the damage of the boss, and they will heal themselves. You're going to be able to speed run dungeons running that, and it's fantastic. So I would definitely try that out. Now it doesn't work for mob packs. You're still going to want to throw down your Sacred Ground, your Beacon, but you can switch over to your Void Gauntlet, throw out Orb of Decay, and take out your Void Blade and help them DPS the packs down. With all these changes to the dungeons coming, we're going to want to be pushing through these dungeons as fast as possible so we can get our gear score up. That expertise is going to be huge in there and in arenas. So I think Void Gauntlet is just going to be huge for speed running dungeons. I mean, it already does some of the best DPS in a dungeon anyways. You can watch other YouTubers using it. It's a fantastic kit, because you can, if you're DPSing with it, you can throw in Baleful Tether, run Oblivion and Voidblade, and you just DPS through a boss. It's ridiculous damage. It's fantastic. But that's all I have for healing for both PvP and PvE. If you want to ask questions, hit me up in those comments. I am Dwake with Wrath Gaming. Sorry, not Wraith. It's Wrath Gaming. Thanks for watching. If you want to do all those weird YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, kill a rabbit, hit that notification bell, and yeah, watch. I'll have more videos coming out. I will eventually come out with a build video showing you everything that I'm running, and we'll go over all that fun stuff too. But let me know if you want that kind of stuff. I will pump out some more gameplay videos. We're unfortunately on a dead server right now, so we're lucky to get OPR to pop. There's not many wars. So right now we just got like maybe an OPR a day if we're lucky, and an invasion a couple times a week. Hopefully we get those server merges soon so I can pump out some PvP action and some dungeon runs to you guys next patch. Anyways, have a great day. Thanks for watching.